The Shadow of the Giants, the Tale of Goliath's Sons. Chapter 1. The Legacy of the Giant. The valley of Elah was silent. The echoes of battle long faded, but the memory of Goliath's fall remained a legend among both the Israelites and the Philistines. Goliath of Gath, the towering champion of the Philistines, had been felled by the young shepherd David. The defeat had shattered the pride of the Philistines, and the name of David was feared throughout their lands. Yet, though Goliath had fallen, his legacy lived on. Unbeknownst to many, Goliath had not stood alone as a giant. He was but one of a family of giants, the *****, who had long plagued the Israelites. These descendants of the Nephilim were formidable in stature and strength, and Goliath's death had ignited a burning hatred within them. Among the giants who still walked the earth, none were more embittered than ****ISHBI-BNOB****, one of Goliath's sons, who swore vengeance against David and his kin. Ishbi-Benob, like his father, was a man of terrifying size and strength, standing nearly 10 feet tall, with a spear as thick as a weaver's beam and a sword forged in the fires of Philistine blacksmiths. He trained relentlessly, preparing for the day when he would face the one who had brought down his father. But Ishbi-Benob was not alone. He had 3 brothers, all giants, each as fearsome as the next. Together they plotted in the shadows, waiting for the right moment to strike at David and his mighty men. Chapter 2. The Weary King and the Fateful Battle. Years passed after David's ascension to the throne. His reign had brought peace and prosperity to Israel, but the Philistines remained a constant threat. David had fought many battles, and though his body had grown older, his heart remained as fierce as ever. Yet age had taken its toll on the king, and the weight of leading Israel through countless wars had left him weary. One day the Philistines gathered their forces again, mustering for another assault against Israel. Among their ranks stood the sons of Goliath, eager for vengeance. Ishbi-Benob, in particular, had grown more cunning and patient over the years, waiting for the right moment to strike David down. The Israelites, led by their aging king, prepared for battle. David donned his armor, though it felt heavier than in his youth, and he led his troops out to face the Philistines. The battlefield stretched wide before them, the sun glinting off swords and shields. But David's heart was heavy, for he knew that this battle would be unlike any he had fought before. The clash of steel and the roar of war soon filled the air. The Israelites, emboldened by their king's presence, fought fiercely, but the Philistines were relentless. As the battle raged, David found himself separated from his men, exhausted from the relentless fighting. It was then that Ishbi-Benob saw his chance. Chapter 3. Ishbi-Benob's Revenge. From across the battlefield, Ishbi-Benob watched as David, tired and isolated, struggled to fend off the Philistine soldiers. The giant's heart quickened with anticipation. This was the moment he had been waiting for all his life, the moment to avenge his father's death. With a roar that shook the ground, Ishbi-Benob charged toward David. His massive spear raised high, saw the giant approaching and knew that he was in grave danger. He raised his sword, but his limbs were heavy and his strength was waning. Ishbi-Benob towered over him, his shadow falling across the king like a storm cloud. "This is for my father," shepherd boy, the giant growled, his voice like thunder. He swung his massive spear down, aiming for David's heart. David, gasping for breath, looked up at his nephew with gratitude. "You have saved my life today," the king said, his voice weak but full of pride. Abishai nodded, but his face was grim. He knew that this was only the beginning. The other sons of Goliath would not rest until they had avenged their fallen brother. Chapter 4. The Giant Slayers of Israel. In the days that followed, the Israelites regrouped and prepared for another encounter with the Philistine giants. David's mighty men, a group of elite warriors who had fought beside him for years, swore to protect their king and rid the land of the remaining giants. Among these warriors was Elhanan, the brother of David. Elhanan, though not as famous as David, was a skilled and fearless warrior. He had grown up in the shadow of his brother's legendary defeat of Goliath, but he was determined to carve out his own legacy. When news came that another giant, Lami, the brother of Goliath, was preparing to face the Israelites, Elhanan knew that his moment had come. Lami was a fearsome sight, as tall and broad as his brother Goliath had been. His armor gleamed in the sunlight, and in his hand he wielded a spear as thick as a tree. The Philistines, emboldened by the presence of yet another giant, rallied behind him, confident that they would crush the Israelites once and for all. But Elhanan was not afraid. He had trained for this moment his entire life, and he knew that the God of Israel was with him, just as he had been with David. Lami roared in challenge, but Elhanan stood his ground, his eyes locked on the giant. With a quick prayer to the Lord for strength, Elhanan charged forward. The battle was fierce, with Lami swinging his massive spear with deadly force. But Elhanan was fast and agile, dodging the giant's blows and striking back with precision. Finally, with a swift and powerful stroke, Elhanan found his mark. His sword cut through Lami's armor, and the giant fell to the ground, defeated. The Philistines, seeing their champion slain, turned and fled in terror, and the Israelites pursued them, cutting them down as they ran. Chapter 5. The final giant falls. Though two of the giants had been slain, the most fearsome of them still remained another son of Goliath, and a giant with 6 fingers on each hand and 6 toes on each foot. He was the strongest and most dangerous of Goliath's sons, and he swore to destroy David and his entire line. The final battle took place near Gezer, where Sif led the Philistine forces against the Israelites. By this time, David was no longer able to fight on the front lines, but his mighty men were more than capable of facing the giant. Sibbecai the Hushathite, one of David's most trusted warriors, stepped forward with tremendous force, the sound of their weapons ringing out across the battlefield. Sif's extra fingers and toes gave him a unique advantage in wielding his weapons, but Sibbecai was undeterred. With a series of quick and calculated strikes, Sibbecai wore the giant down. In a final, decisive move, he thrust his sword into Sif's chest, ending the line of Goliath once and for all. Chapter 6. Peace in the land. With the deaths of Goliath's sons, the threat of the Philistine giants was finally extinguished. The Israelites celebrated their victory, giving thanks to God for his protection and for the courage of David's warriors. The land of Israel experienced a period of peace free from the terror of the giants who had once